Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to PuroRegal here on the Slam Fam Wrestling Network. I am Timothy Regal. I am joined by my co-host, the leader of Ringside Chat, Mr. Gary Freeland, the man who was in attendance live at G1 Supercard. Gary, how was G1 Supercard? Well, before we get to G1 Supercard, how was your Mania weekend as a whole?
Equal parts fun and equal parts stressing, just because of trying to travel through New York and New Jersey. Really, for the first time for me, was pretty much nightmarish. And then Friday was it was rainy all day, so that made it even worse. But as far as the wrestling goes, it was pretty fantastic. We ended up getting the 4 shows: Impact, WrestleCon Battle in the Big Apple, the U.S. versus the World show, House of Glory, and then obviously the G1 Supercard we ended up making.
Real quick, I want to run these down. We're not going to go through them all, but first off, Impact. How was Impact?
Pretty good. I thought the setup was kind of weak in regards to just it looked very much like a local indie promotion setup. I thought that was for someone that has a television deal, albeit a weak one, wasn't great. I thought the ring looked really small. Because I don't know if it was because of the Ultimate X setup or whatever, but overall the match quality was pretty decent. I mean, if you're going to check out any matches on there, I would say the Ultimate X match was amazing. Ace Austin did this crazy spot off top of one of the pillars where he did a somersault plunge on everyone. It was probably 20 feet in the air. It's pretty to the floor. The intergender match was really good. Joey Ryan and Tessa Blanchard, and the Monsters Ball match between Havoc and Sami Callihan was really good.
Yeah. Then you went to, you said you went to WrestleCon, right?
Yes.
The U.S. versus the World show. Now, I've watched most of that. I really liked the guy that wrestles in the jacket.
Eichmann.
Yeah, Eichmann. I've never seen him before, and I'm like, this kid's great.
He was really good. I had a blast watching him. That match was great. I thought I didn't really know much about Black Taurus. He was fantastic. Him and Darby Allin had a great match on that card. And that 6-man was probably one of my favorite matches of the weekend with the Rascals, Australian Suicide, Robbie Eagles, and Adam Brooks. I thought that was a tremendous match.
Yeah. And then now I know then you went to House of Glory basically to see Muta. Now, yeah. And I saw you posted something on social media. Go into basically the what happened to House of Glory.
Okay, so about halfway through the House of Glory show, they start what was supposed to be the main event, which was Low Key and LAX versus Pentagon, Tajiri, and the Great Muta. And that got me and Court. I was with Court, and that got our wheels turning that Muta might show up at the G1 because it was literally like 90 minutes into the show. And there was like five matches left, and it was by far the most, advertised match. He didn't really do much there, and it was cool to watch all those guys work, but as we'll talk about later, he ended up showing up at the G1.
Yeah, and I know you said people basically, like, as soon as Muta's match was done, left in droves to head to the Garden.
Oh, God. Yeah, a lot of people left in droves, especially that last tag match with Juicy Product and Private Party. It was a really weird match because the Bucks have been hyping up Private Party, and I didn't really know their work, so I was really looking forward to seeing them wrestle. And I'm a huge David Starr fan too, and I thought that would be a great match, but it turned it into like a comedy match. It was really bizarre, and it just felt like it was dragging on and on and on. And it went overtime, and people had G1 tickets, and probably half the crowd left by the time that match wrapped up, just because they were trying to get back to Madison Square Garden in time.
Yeah, it sounds like, unfortunately, I had heard, it won't be bad. People are going to use public transportation and all this and that, and from what I've read online, travel was still a nightmare.
Oh, yeah, it was real bad. Luckily, I'd bought my train ticket before I went to the show, so I just hopped right on the train, didn't have to wait in line for that, so that saved me a good bit of time. But, yeah, there was people there still waiting in line when I had gotten on the train. I got to Madison Square Garden about 6.
So 6, and the show started at 6:30, right?
Well, there was a match on on before the Honor Rumble that was just for the live crowd. It was Sumi Sakai, Stella Gray, and Hana Kimura versus Jenny Rose, Suzuki, and Kazuchika from Stardom.
Did you see that match? How was it?
I did see that. It was okay. I mean, there's clear, obvious differences between some of the ones that were in that. I mean, more or less Jenny Rose I could have did without. Stella Gray was okay. I'm not a big Sumi Sakai fan at all, even though she did a really cool plancha onto everyone off the top rope that looked really good. It was serviceable, 10-minute match, something to, keep the crowd engaged until the actual show started.
I lost you there for a minute. I'm getting a poor connection warning. Hang on. Shit. Let me see if it's something on my end. We'll keep going. I think I've got it now. Okay, I'm not getting the connection warning anymore. I'll have to go in and edit that part out. But yeah. So you saw the tag match. You said it was okay. Sorry, a little bit of technical difficulty here. You saw the tag match. You said it was okay. But the one thing I think I really want to know is describe getting into the Garden. What was the atmosphere like going in? And was this your first time going to the Garden?
Very first time in New York City, let alone the Garden. So yeah, this was my first trip in. Atmosphere was great. You went to All In. I would compare it to that atmosphere. It's very, that same type of crowd. I would say in the entire time that I walked around, because I tried to walk around a little bit, just to, soak in the Garden. I think it was 99% New Japan merch people were buying, had New Japan clothes on. I saw very little Ring of Honor, people represented in the crowd. It was definitely a New Japan crowd. And they were hyped from the beginning, except for, certain spots in the show which we'll get to, but the environment was fantastic. It really was.
So what is it like when you walk into the Garden and obviously this is the most legendary building in the history of professional wrestling, and New Japan is finally there. I can only imagine what that had to feel like.
I was kind of flabbergasted when I walked down to my section of how great the setup looked. I was kind of, low-key worrying about that all weekend because Ring of Honor is not exactly known for their production value. And being that the show was in America, I was thinking this is going to be more low-budget type of show. But it was, WWE quality stage, lighting, at least from the live perspective, it was fantastic.
On New Japan World, I actually said I think it actually did look it looked slightly better than All In. So I think the production team learned from what they did on All In and kind of just improved upon it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And I was surprised how modern Madison Square Garden is. I guess they had done like $1 billion renovation in the last 5 or 6 years. And I was, because Madison Square Garden's an older building. I was expecting, an older-ish, setup and building. It was beautiful inside. It was really nice. I was pleasantly surprised how easy it was to get in, how easy it was to get to the seats. And my seats were pretty good. I was pretty happy with where I was sitting. Yeah, it was nice in there.
Yeah, if a couple years ago they went back and they did a massive refit of Madison Square Garden. I would say it's kind of bad because the vomitor, as they call them, the vomitoriums, the one that you would always see on the old video of the guys coming out towards the ring is gone. It's not even there anymore. So a lot of people say they did kind of make it look like every other arena in the country. But at the end of the day, it's still Madison Square Garden, and you still have to love it. So, like you said, I guess we can get into the show. I do say, on my end, one of the things that I will say right away, I think I only had one freeze up on the stream the entire time. So shout out to the production team for that. Especially, I'm thinking, oh dear God, after last year's Supercard of Honor, if the stream does. Thankfully, it seems like Honor Club, New Japan World. even independent wrestling. I guess I talked about this on Off the Chest. Even independent wrestling.tv, Fight TV. I only saw maybe one minor glitch in a stream the entire weekend. So shout out to all the guys who do streams, because I think we've hit a point where we've really figured it out and have confidence that you can actually watch live streaming wrestling and it's not going to die on you. As opposed to a few years ago where when you never knew quite what you were going to get when you put your money down. But yeah, show started out, and I mean, I was with our boy Alex from Off the Chest with me, and my buddy Adam, and so we were watching from the comfort of Alex's living room, and I mean, I was hyped up, and the stream pops on, and the building looks great, and it goes right into the Honor Rumble. First person out was Kenny King, and I'm like, oh boy. Kenny King's out, number one. Number two is Minoru Suzuki, and I instantly got bummed out because, for whatever reason, they dubbed over his theme music. Did you know? Were you aware of that?
Yeah, I found out after the show. I thought that was really weird because they're simulcasting with New Japan World, so they clearly have the rights to that music. So I thought that was weird that they would do that, especially such an iconic, entrance. Really bizarre choice.
Yeah. So yeah, we did, I could hear the crowd yell Kazaninare, but the music did not match up, and it was like, dude, you want to hear that in the Garden. It's because I figured I kind of had a feeling that when Kenny King came out one, I'm like, Suzuki. I actually said to Alex, Suzuki's gonna be two. Because I had a feeling they'd give him a way to give him his moment and give him his full ring entrance. That's an arrow on the head. Next out was Cheeseburger. Cheeseburger needs to go back to wearing the top and the pants. I do not like Cheeseburger in the short shorts.
He's tiny for that.
He's a tiny dude. He's an in shape dude. But he's a tiny guy. Then we got the star of Beer City Bruiser. Then we got Shingo. Big pop for Shingo, I noticed.
I would say most of the New Japan guys outside of Yoshihashi got massive pops. No one cared about any of the Ring of Honor people that came in, except maybe Colt. But yeah. Bushi,
Yo, Raheem Ali, Rhett Titus, Leon St. Giovanni, Ryusuke Taguchi, Will Ferrara, where we got the reunion of the dogs, the reunion that no one was waiting for.
No.
Then we got Will Ferrara. Next up was Chase Owens, which the first time since the opening that I had really, really popped for anybody. Rocky Romero, Brian Malonis, Bad Luck Fale, Jonathan Gresham, I thought for Ring of Honor guys actually got a pretty good pop.
He did.
The problem with Gresham is everybody had already seen him wrestle 10 times in the weekend, so. Tracy Williams, Yoshihashi, who, like I said, hey, he made it to the ring without dying, so.
Oh, he took the longest time to get to the ring, too. I was just waiting for him to sprint out and just do the Titus O'Neil belly slide all the way down the ramp, but yeah.
He did not run at all. PJ Black, to which literally Adam and Alex both looked at me and said, who the hell is that guy? It's pretty bad when nobody remembers PJ Black. Next out was Liger, who got the massive, gigantic pop. Also, and I don't know why this is, again, dubbed over theme music. Which just, it kills it when you're watching it on the stream because it's like you want to hear the music. TK O'Ryan and Vinny Marseglia. I did love that they had the balloons come up from like all sides of the ring. And then he actually walked down. Delirious, which I'll get to in a minute. Tomohiro Ishii. Then we got Colt Cabana replacing Toru Yano, who hilariously came out, ran to the announce table, gave Colt the Colt Cabana elbow pad, and then Toru Yano joins the announce team, and it's the comedically tragic train wreck that you would expect it to be. Toru Yano has no clue what is happening on commentary. I'm like, the only thing that would have made it better is if we would have actually had Don Callis for him to play off of. Then by the way, Toru Yano a few minutes later, enters the Rumble. So we actually have 31 guys, to which Ian Riccaboni goes, just literally, and I don't think this was rehearsed, said, well, just roll with it, I guess. Hiroki Goto, Haku, the first surprise we hit. And to which everybody in the house popped, and I said, oh my God, somebody's about to get their face eaten. Because let's face it, if I gotta walk down the streets of New York at night, if anybody in this Rumble, I'm probably taking Haku with me.
Yeah.
And then number 30, and we'd hit that point, and I'm like, everybody that I can think of is in. And we had talked about it, and I'm like, it's gotta be him. Number 30 hits, and that screen pops up, and just how deafening. What was that moment?
The building just went completely bonkers. I was so happy for him because it meant so much to Japanese wrestling as a whole. So to get that, moment to, walk gingerly down the aisle and soak that in at Madison Square Garden the first time that they've ever been there. It was definitely one of probably the best entrance of anyone in this Rumble for sure. Probably one of the loudest pops of the night for Muta.
Yeah. I screamed so loud for Muta that Alex's wife Margaret actually came out of the office and said, "Are you okay?" There was another time that would happen on Sunday as well, where she had to ask me if I was okay when a certain doctor arrived. No, I was so happy to see Muta, and so there were a lot. They did a good job with this Rumble, I actually think. For the most part, it was fun. Everybody got their shine. It came down to Muta and Liger, and the crowd is going nuts. And then, you were there live. You explain what happens.
So, Ring of Honor, in its infinite wisdom, decides they want to, harken back to the Memphis days of Jerry Lawler hiding under the ring for battle royals. Except, instead of someone with actual talent and charisma and anything like that, they choose Kenny King to do this and throw out two massive legends, completely deflate the audience, and just completely kill what could have been a great moment to have Muta and Liger mix it up for a couple minutes. It sucked. I don't like Kenny King. He sucks. Ring of Honor has been trying to make Kenny King something for years. He's not going to be something. Stick his ass back with Rhett Titus. That was the only time he was remotely tolerable, and move on from this.
Yeah.
And apparently he's getting a title match now because that was brought up on the broadcast, which is horrific.
Yeah, Kenny. The second I saw Kenny King, I went, oh man. And then he dumps them both, and it's just, I'm like, oh, really? And then now, because I had assumed, we all kind of assumed Liger was going to win. They give it to Kenny King. Liger and Muta jump back in the ring. Muta gives Kenny the mist. Liger dumps him over. They kind of share the ring for a second, and then Liger steps out. Or Muta steps out.
Muta steps out, yeah.
And the crowd gives Liger the moment. And this is going to become a recurring theme for throughout.
Oh, yeah. This isn't even remotely close to the worst decision that Ring of Honor made this evening.
Oh boy. But like I said, fun Rumble minus the ending. So then, a few minutes, thankfully not a long intermission. I hate when it's pre-show and then obviously there's no kickoff panel on this show. We had to stare at a screen screen for 10 minutes. But main card opens up with a nice video package kind of highlighting all of the main competitors of the show, talking about being at the Garden. And then opening match, Jeff Cobb and Will Ospreay. I think I'll kind of let you give your thoughts on this match first, and then I'll kind of go with what I think, what I saw.
I don't think you could have picked a better opener than these two guys. It's probably one of the few times of the night that Ring of Honor looked great. I wish they would have had a few more minutes. I would have been okay with that. I thought the finish was pretty cool. Tour of the Islands off the top, and then followed with another Tour of the Islands. Cobb is the guy that Ring of Honor to me should be building around, and I don't get the feeling like that's what's occurring right now. But just a fantastic match, and I'm glad that he has this New Japan title now, because now he's going to have to be in New Japan more, and that's really honestly where he belongs. I think his skill set, matches that type of wrestling better than most people that are there now. So a great opener, got the crowd really up. Can't say enough good things. Probably one of my favorite matches of the night, honestly.
Yeah, I was actually cheering for Will, primarily to troll Alex McCarthy, because Alex is Jeff Cobb's #1 fan. Jeff Cobb is legitimately one of Alex McCarthy's favorite wrestlers. And even though I looked at him and I said, bro, it's a win-win regardless here, because if Will wins, he's got the ROH TV title. If Jeff wins, he's got the Never title and has to come to Japan more. So in this case, yeah, I think the New Japan side gets a much better victory out of this than the Ring of Honor side does, because we're getting Jeff Cobb. I say we. New Japan is getting Jeff Cobb, and Will probably won't go back to Ring of Honor, because he doesn't seem to really overly feel fond of going to work there unless it's part of a New Japan contingent.
And that seems to be most of New Japan's talent's feelings, if you've seen some of the post match press conferences.
Oh boy, one in particular.
Yes.
Which we will get to again. But no, I had this. Give your live in the building rating.
I gave it a 4. I really like these two just play off each other so well. I think they're just supremely talented. Ospreay has come so far in the last year with changing his style to a more heavyweight style, and just hasn't lost any of his speed or just his athleticism. He's just I honestly think at some point he'll be the IWGP champion within the next couple years. I think he's going to get that run. But a solid 4 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, I actually went 4 1/4 here. Grapple app users, Grapple app, they should sponsor it. GRAPPL app, they should sponsor us. They went 3.94 on this match, so a great opening match. You said Will everybody, Will obviously looked like a heavyweight with the Never title run. There is a flyer for the Best of the Super Juniors that's circulating on Twitter that seems to look legitimate, that actually does have Will on this poster. So,
oh wow,
I could seriously see Best of the Super Juniors this year kind of being his final run, where maybe he makes it to the last night or makes it to the finals maybe and puts somebody over to kind of push them up the ladder. But and we'll get into the junior situation, of course, a little bit later on. But no, great match, great opener, great way to start the night. Then we get to Dalton Castle versus Rush, and Dalton comes out with a gigantic. I loved the fact that they had a whole line of boys lining the entranceway. He comes out, he's got like 5 of them behind him. They hold up peak. He's standing on a platform of a pulpit of some type. Did he get it from Caprice Coleman? I don't know. But he's standing on a pulpit. They bring up the peacock feathers behind him. We're getting a huge, MSG WrestleMania weekend entrance for Dalton Castle. And then Rush comes out, and And obviously, they put over the fact that Rush is one of the people that started LIJ, that started Los Ingobernables. And then they get in the ring, the bell rings, and 15 seconds later, this match is over.
He was in a rush, for sure. Beat the living snot out of Castle in 15 seconds. I mean, it's clear that they have big plans for Rush moving forward here. And you put him over a Ring of Honor champion, a very popular Ring of Honor champion, and that quick a time on their biggest stage, they clearly have, a future for him in the company. But I liked it. I really did. Honestly, what happened after, I really enjoyed too. I know a lot of people were pissing and moaning about what happened, but I thought it made sense for what they've been doing with Castle for the last several months. If he's staying there, why not try this?
Yeah, they've had him on a losing streak. He takes the loss in 15 seconds and then proceeds to beat the living snot out of the boys. And this is one of the few things that I actually think ROH got right.
Yes.
Like you said, big plans for Rush. Obviously, they had to outbid other companies to get him. They've put him over on Bandito. They've put him over on Dalton Castle. I think he's going to be a guy for them going forward. And if there's one, Dalton desperately needs a reset. That obviously the one thing for him, I definitely think that's understated here is working as a heel. He can work slower, he can work safer, he can do things that will help protect him, because obviously he's been banged up, he's still banged up, and like I said, just the main thing of this is the guy, the actor gotten old, and I want to see, I'm at least intrigued to see where he is going forward from here.
I look, and they really need some top level heels, and the guy can work. When he is healthy, he can go. I mean, he's very strong, and I've watched him for a long, long time. He wrestled a lot locally where I live. I've seen him kind of grow as a talent, and honestly, I think he's better as a heel, and I'd love to see a serious version of this character where he just mauls people with his wrestling ability, which I think is the direction they're going to go.
Because people don't realize Dalton is an accomplished amateur wrestler.
Yes.
So, I think he could transition and work that kind of a style really, really easily. Up next, we had the Women of Honor Championship match, Maya Iwatani versus Kelly Klein.
Awful. Just awful. And it's a shame because I do like both of these women as far as workers go, especially Maya's a tremendous talent. They just have zero chemistry with each other. They have tried this match 5 times now in the last year. It has not worked any of those 5 times. So why this is taking a spot on this card is beyond me. And we're going to get to it in the next match. To me, I think the order is, the order of this card is a little bit wrong. They needed to mix some things up, because if you're going to have this match on there was a place for it, but it sure as hell wasn't right in this spot.
Yeah, I like the Kelly Klein gimmick coming out with the fight camp and all that. I like Maya Iwatani. She's great in Stardom. But like you said, no chemistry here. Kelly Klein in this match looked like she was moving in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what was going on here, but it was just not good. The match just goes for. It felt like it went forever to me, and at this point, I started checking out. I was looking at my phone. This match went 10 minutes. Kelly Klein wins, and then we get to the point where Ring of Honor just started to make me go, "What are we doing?"
Yeah. Kushida shows up with the time machine. Yeah, no, he does. Kushida shows up with the time machine, transfers everyone back to 2008 when the beautiful people were popular, and then brings them to 2019 to run in on a Ring of Honor show.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. Angelina Love Velvet Sky, great. I enjoy them. I enjoy looking at them and their pictures on Instagram. I did not want them in Ring of Honor. I mean, I'll give you the other side of the coin is, well, at least they did something with Women of Honor, but this really wasn't what we had in mind, guys.
No.
And it's I'll just say this, and I hate to be this guy, but it shows who's starting to get more power in this company and helping to run the show. Because all of a sudden somebody, did you see where it's come out? Apparently that Madison Rain requested them, was pushing for it, and then left the company anyway.
Because she didn't want the other, I can't remember who the third one that came out was. She didn't want her in the group, so that was, I guess, the breaking point with that. But I think Ring of Honor is having a little bit of an identity crisis. What really put them on the map was their wrestling, their work rate. That's the type of company they should be. So when you're starting a division like this women's division over the last year and a half, and you don't have any really strong workers, that's a problem. And that's no shot against Klein, but she's just not, at that level in which, Ring of Honor fans are expecting. And Iwatani is, but she clearly needs, a matching dance partner, and they just don't have it. And bringing in Velvet Sky and the Beautiful People, or the Allure, whatever the hell they're calling themselves, is not going to help that. They've never been known for their work. Very charismatic personalities, and that's great. You're going to need that in that division. But they desperately need some female talent, in-ring talent, that can carry that division, or they're going to continue to struggle.
Yeah, that division needs workers, not models.
No.
That's what it is. And I feel like this is a statement as to how Sinclair Broadcasting views Ring of Honor. They think they need to do what the WWE does, which is not what and I'll get, again, it's, trust me, we're not done. It's there, but wait, there's more. So we get to the next match. So this was scheduled to be Bully Ray versus Juice Robinson. We get a video before the women's match of Juice laid out unconscious in the back. First. Describe the live reaction to the live performance of Mega Ran.
I think you'd have had a better reaction if you'd have rolled our president out to the center of the ring and had him rap.
Ow.
It was damn near mob-like, because it was a pretty rowdy crowd, pretty inebriated crowd in some sections. And they were calling for blood. When you make, this Bully Ray sound like the top heel or top babyface in your company, because this guy's out here rapping, a guy that you've built up as a heel for the last year and a half, it doesn't say much for that. Yeah. To me, this would have been a great spot if you're looking for places to put people, is to roll out Suzuki or roll out Ishii and have them just clobber this guy. I know it makes no sense storyline wise, but who cares? And just to get them on the card.
Get a nostalgia pop and bring back the Sandman and just have Sandman gain
something. Tommy Dreamer. Anyone. Literally anyone else.
They booed this guy building at the 15th anniversary pay-per-view. I don't know why they thought it was going to be different at MSG. In fact, it was 1,000 times worse, because you have a guy that basically is supposed to be the biggest dickhead heel in your company, and he comes out to a babyface reaction because this guy is terrible.
He's awful. I don't have anything against rap music. I like rap music. But this is not the place for that. You have a predominantly New Japan heavy audience. They want to come and see New Japan style matches. They don't want to see this guy cut a crappy rap song about being in the garden. He just got annihilated verbally, and then you made your top heel look like a babyface. It made zero sense. No sense at all.
Dude, I saw a bit of rap on Sunday.
Yeah.
The 40-year-old dude who went back in time on Sunday did a better rap than Mega ran. Okay,
Yeah.
so you bring out Bully, and Bully tells him to get out of the ring, kicks him a couple times, and the crowd is cheering this. This guy's supposed to be a heel, and then and at this point, I've kind of figured out that the jig is up here. And obviously, I'm pretty sure we got worked on social media. We get the return of Flip Gordon. I feel like because of this, and you get to say how it was live, because of the thing with Mega Ran, I feel like that really hurt Flip's reaction.
Oh yeah, the crowd didn't care at all. It was just so overbooked mess that no one cared. It was just like, oh, it's Flip. We're gonna see this match again. We just saw it in December. It just ugh. And then it turned into a 6-man, which we kind of called, I think, the last time we were on here. We just got the participants wrong.
Yeah. So they go a few minutes. Silas Young and Shane Taylor run in. I mean, I was happy for Silas.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was legitimately worried after the Honor Rumble that he was going to get. I'm like, please. I was worried they were going to leave him off the card.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe they were going to do the angle because he'd been talking about that on social media and on the TV. The 1 or 2 weeks of TV that we got to actually lead to this show. But and obviously I've been a fan of Silas for a long time from AEW. So they come out, they're 3-on-1 beating down on Flip, and then the Lifeblood logo, the heartbeat pops, Mark Haskins, and a suddenly completely recovered Juice Robinson. He's not selling anything when he comes out. Comes out with a giant trash dump bucket like we have at my job, full of weapons, and makes it a six-man street fight. As far as 6-man street fights go, this was fine, I thought.
It's okay, yeah. Can I take a minute to talk about how much I hate Lifeblood as a faction? This is to me the microcosm of Ring of Honor's lazy booking for the last half a decade or more. You sign all these guys, Mark Haskins. You have Juice coming in more regularly now. You have Bandito, who's a huge signing for them. All these guys, all the Hot Sauce is in there. Dave Finley, all these and you just randomly throw them in a faction for reasons. There's not even a real good reason to put them in there. You lost probably the biggest group of talent outside of the WWE last year. And instead of, bringing all these fresh names in and coming up with things for them individually, you just lump them in a group with really no rhyme or reason or direction to do things. It's infuriating to me. And I love Ring of Honor. I really do. I've supported them for years. I don't understand. To me, they're wasting Haskins. They're wasting Juice in this group. They're wasting Bandito. All these guys that could be tentpole guys in your organization and just lumped together without any thought or any reason. It's just very frustrating to me. I just don't get it.
Yeah, Bandito is completely wasted here.
Yeah.
Bandito is an elite level talent to me. The guy is amazing. He can do stuff that nobody can do outside of maybe Will Ospreay and Ricochet. I'll give you an even hotter take. I think Mark Haskins sucks.
Really?
I'm not a fan. I don't like the look. I think he's just complete. To quote Kevin the great Kevin Nash, this guy is a complete and total vanilla midget. There's nothing about this dude that makes me say, I want to watch you wrestle. I am intrigued or in any way attentive to your performance. I don't see what people see. And I hear people say, oh, he's great, PWG, blah, blah, blah. I've watched some of the stuff. I've never seen it. I don't get it. Juice, you could do so much more with Juice than you're doing here. This Tennille Dashwood's gone. So we've already David Finley's out injured. So we've already lost 2 members of this group. I just don't. And yeah, like you said, it's lazy. It was, hey, just throw these guys together. You could have done so much more. Absolutely. Like I said, this match was fine, but just completely kind of fell flat. What did I even give this? After what I gave half a star for the women's match, this one I gave this 1 star actually. I think just because it was just because of the overbooked mess of it.
If you cut away from the MC Ram or whatever the hell his name was, all that part, and yeah, it was overbooked. I gave it a 2.5. I thought the actual action was okay, but yeah, it was just an overbooked disaster of a match. It's a real shame because there is a lot of talent there, and Silas Young, I'm a big fan of too. I think he's completely underutilized with Ring of Honor. We could go through a list of people that Ring of Honor underutilizes, but yeah, 2.5, right, smack dab in the middle with this one.
Yeah, Grapple ended up giving this 1.74, so that was a match that did happen. Up next, thankfully we got back to why we're here. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Title Triple Threat: Taiji Ishimori versus Bandito versus Dragon Lee. I thought the entrances here, Bandito gets a huge pop. Dragon Lee get a pretty decent reaction, but not great. And then obviously your Bullet Club, it's America. Your Bullet Club Hot Topic, Bullet Club hoodie wearing guys. Raise his hand.
Yeah.
Give a huge pop. Me and Adam, we're throwing up the 2 sweets in the living room for the Bone Soldier. So this is a match. Obviously, we put the crowd to sleep, so at least let's throw the juniors out there to wake the crowd back up. And go ahead.
This might be the best 9-minute match I've ever seen live. They got a little less than 9 minutes in the ring. It was a fantastic match. I wish it had got a lot more time. I would have got rid of that Women of Honor match and gave them all that time. I think it could have been even better.
Yeah, I think you could have had these guys go 20 minutes. This literally was the 10-minute car crash, but even in a 10-minute car crash where they're going 90 miles an hour, just when I thought it was really starting to get good and get into high gear, it went home.
Mm-hmm.
Also, can we talk about the fact that Bandito throws in a era where the Canadian Destroyer is completely passé and overused, the way Bandito does it just makes me pop every single damn time, because Bandito just doesn't do a Canadian Destroyer. Bandito just runs at a full sprint, jumps, leaps on the guy and just flips and makes it look like he's trying to kill someone.
Can we talk about that backflip fall away slam with both guys from the middle rope that looks like it wasn't going to get completed halfway through and everyone was going to die and break their necks in the middle of the ring, and then somehow he was able to finish that off? That may have been the most amazing thing I've ever seen live, the most terrifying thing that I've ever seen live. Bandito, another guy, Ring of Honor is going to completely fuck up and waste. Just an amazing talent all around. I hate to see him eat another pin, but this match was tremendous. This was definitely in my top 3 of the night. It was only 9 minutes long.
Yeah, Dragon Lee gets a win here. That was kind of surprising. I thought they just either need to give it to Bandito or have Ishimori retained.
Yeah.
But I hate to say it, Dragon Lee is your junior heavyweight champion. I got a feeling. I'm feeling it. I almost was surprised that somebody didn't walk down that ramp.
I was waiting for it. As soon as I saw him win, I was looking, because I was like, he's got to be coming, right? He's got to be. Hiromu's got to be coming down the ramp. And he didn't. Maybe they're saving it for Japan, but.
Yeah, I was bummed. I was kind of bummed by that, because if you'd have had Hiromu Takahashi come walking down that ramp, that place would have. I mean, it would have been Muda-like. It would have been Muda pop for Hiromu. Up next, oh boy, kids, get your popcorn. It is the IWGP Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, winner takes all, Fatal 4-Way. We got the Briscoes, Jay and Mark. We have PCO and Brody King. We have the Gorillas of Destiny, and we have Sonata and Evil. Before we get to that, what would you rate the junior heavyweight title match?
I gave it a 4.
I actually gave it 4. Grapple App actually has it as a 3.99, so we are right. Everybody kind of right there on the 4 stars on that one. Okay, so now IWGP versus Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Winner takes all. This match, first, Fatal 4-Way, so I guess technically there's no DQs and no rules, so essentially this is a street fight, which I thought was kind of odd. Okay, as you're watching live, did Sonata and Evil just go, like, hang out? Did Sonata get a hot dog?
They just disappeared. They completely disappeared from this match. They did literally nothing except their entrances. I can't remember one thing that they did in this match.
Yeah, I literally have zero memory at all of what Sonata and Evil did in this match. Like, I know they were there. I know Sonata did the cold skull at some point to somebody, but that's about all I can remember.
And the Paradise Lock. There was a Paradise Lock, I remember.
Yeah, we had the Paradise Lock. PCO and Brody King, I do think Ring of Honor made them look like stars at least. I loved the entrance for PCO. Bringing in I mean, obviously, did the crowd get into that, or were they kind of meh on it?
They got into it. Yeah, I still think PCO could be, a big star in Japan if given the opportunity. But yeah, the entrance was really cool. I thought came across very well live. The crowd seemed into it. I mean, that's, like I said, it's a big, it's kind of a smarky crowd that's there. So there was a lot of PCO fans. And it is one of the few things I think Ring of Honor is doing correctly with PCO and Brody King. I think they've been a really great addition to that tag division.
Yeah, and I really wanted them to go over here because I think if you could bring Brody King and PCO over to New Japan, obviously we're getting some much needed life, breathing some much needed life. I was going to say lifeblood. We're breathing some new life in the heavyweight division. Plus, I think if with Brody King and PCO, I would have PCO. I don't know if I'd have him go full Izuka, but I would do something with PCO where basically you could have PCO and Brody King could be Hanson and Brody all over again. They could come out and the crowd would just literally run the other. PCO would come out and the crowd would run. That Japanese crowd would run in the other direction. Lance Hoyt tries to do that, but it's Lance Hoyt. Not that Lance Hoyt's bad. I actually enjoy Lance Hoyt. But no, I think PCO and Brody King in New Japan could absolutely crush it. Brody King actually, after this match, went and won the Gay Young Classic. So, I thought this match was good. The Gorillas looked good. The Briscoes did their thing. PCO and Brody were, PCO is throwing his body everywhere.
That power bomb spot to the floor, completely unprotected.
Oh God!
Holy shit!
Yeah, that dude. That one, I'm like, that was the whole, all three guys in the room just going, holy shit moment. Like I said, this was fine, but I feel like the fact that they did this 2 matches after a 6-man street fight, just it kind of overshadowed it because basically this is all, and we had a car crash, 900 mile an hour match right before it. So the placement of some of these matches just seems odd because they didn't space anything. I would definitely have put the next match actually here and then put the tag match back a match. Especially, we'll get into that in a minute. But like I said, match was fine. I gave it 3 and a quarter. Grapple gave it same as you. Sorry.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
I gave it 3.25. You gave it 3.25. Grapple gives it 3.37. So then, again, I'm going to lay out.
So
tell from your live seats what you saw.
Okay, so what happened was across the arena from us, so we didn't really see what was going on. And initially, it looked like somebody had hopped the rail, and you know what happens when a fan hops the rail? They get the snot kicked out of them. Usually for a couple seconds, and it splits up. Well, this keeps going and going and going, and then I see the giant Z on the guy's shirt, this little midget shirt, and I'm like, oh god, it's Enzo. And then I see Big Cass, because it was our view was kind of blocked. And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on? So I'm thinking, oh, maybe it is. For a split second, I'm like, maybe this is, legit. But it went on and on and on. And then I'm looking around. I'm like, no security's coming in. Gorillas of Destiny are sitting in the ring watching this. They're not hopping in. No one's coming from the back. Well, Bully Ray came out from the back to be the hero again, which was weird. And meanwhile, Yano is doing something on the ramp with the belts. I think he stole the belts or something. I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah, he stole the tag belts.
Okay, so he stole the tag belts. It was just bizarre. And it looked like they were laying it in pretty good. I think they were trying to make it look real, but it went too long. It went way, way too long. And they didn't even show it on TV, which I thought was bizarre. So this is clearly a work, because no street fight lasts that long. No fight's going to last long. There have been police down there, there have been security, especially Madison Square Garden in New There would have been security breaking it up instantly. People would have been arrested. They let them leave on their own. It was just so poorly done. I don't even so much care that they did it as much as I did how they did it. You could have had them try to hop the rail. Security swarms them. They run their mouths back and forth, or they get a couple shots in, take them away, put it on TV, and get some buzz going. It to me, it sucked the crowd. It took the crowd right out of the next match, which was Tanahashi and Zack Sabre Jr., one of your biggest matches on this card. You completely wiped out the crowd for the most of the match. It made no fucking sense to me. And apparently they're going to be in Ring of Honor now, which to me is just a horrible decision all the way around. They can't work. They bring all sorts of bad attention to you, not good attention. I don't get it. There's so many good tag teams out there that would, bring some life to that division, and this would be the last group of guys that I would pick. And Cass looks terribly out of shape. I mean, he looked really bad. I don't know.
So, okay. So I will give you now the perspective that we had on TV. And here's an interesting perspective on this too. This angle goes down 15 to 20 minutes after the incident at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
With Bret Hart. So instantly, the first reaction is, what the fuck is in the water in New York City? And then I realize it's Enzo. And I can tell by the crowd reaction, the visceral hatred he's getting. And it's not, oh, you suck, boo you. It's get the F out of the building, because nobody wants you here, especially not New Japan fans, because we all know you suck. You're terrible. You're literally one of the worst wrestlers on the planet. They literally booed you off stage 2 nights before at Wale Mania. You're an alleged sexual abuser. And apparently, this is what Sinclair Media and Joe Koff want on their goddamn TV. What the fuck? This, like you said, it brought down, even in the room, for me, we're discussing it, we're on Twitter because of this, and I'm not paying attention to 2 of the best wrestlers on the planet, Zack Sabre Jr. and Hiroshi Tanahashi, which I went back immediately Monday and rewatched that match, and it's excellent.
Oh, that match is awesome.
And we'll go into that in a minute. The thing is, literally, Ring of Honor's already not doing well on this pay-per-view as a whole. And there's something else to talk about down the road. But this, why? You have your biggest audience ever. You have more eyes on your product in this moment than you ever have. You've had Bryan Danielson, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Seth Rollins, the list goes on. And you use this platform to do a work shoot viral video angle with Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. Two people that nobody wants. Why? Somebody, Delirious, Bully, somebody had to know this was a bad idea. Also, based on the comments, I think it was readily apparent that nobody smartened up the New Japan guys.
They were completely flabbergasted. They were just kind of looking around like, what in the fuck is going on? And then they just kind of waddled out of the ring. It was just kind of weird. I think that's why they got the reaction that they got in that press conference that we'll talk about here in a minute. But I want to talk about the placement. I think it's ridiculous. I would never use them in a million years. I think they're just cancerous to a locker room, cancerous to your company. I would not touch them with a 10-foot pole. That being said, if they're that adamant about using them, why not put this match before the Women of Honor match that most people aren't going to be into anyway? So you have this angle, run it before that match, and then when people are on Twitter and looking at what the fuck is going on, you're not interfering with one of the matches that drew people to the show to begin with. It doesn't make any sense to me. I wouldn't have it at all. But to me, it should have been earlier in the card where it's not going to completely derail things for a large chunk of, the primary part of the card. It's just dumb booking. It's Ring of Honor booking for the last 5 years. It's been just terrible. It's either been terribly bland or overbooked, and now I am fearful that they're going to do what TNA Impact was doing for years and trying to copy WWE with this bullshit work shoot Russo-esque crap that does not work. Nobody wants it, and completely get away from what brought them to the dance. Good in-ring work. That's what they're known for. That's what they should focus on. That's their identity, not all this other extra bullshit that no one gives a shit about.
And I'm going to move on here because I feel like there's more. I've got more to say, but I'm going to hold that for the end of the show. I've got almost a Jerry Springer-esque final thought here that I'm going to unleash on the world. So up next, in a match that should have had the crowd just absolutely going insane, but because of this angle, and you can watch it on TV, that the crowd is just completely taken out of this match, and I feel just god-awful about this. Zack Sabre Jr. and Hiroshi Tanahashi, legitimately the ace and the guy who may be the best technical wrestler on the planet for the Rev Pro British Heavyweight title. This match goes 15 minutes and 14 seconds, and dude, Tanahashi makes Zack Sabre Jr. look like a goddamn star.
If you had ever any questions about Tanahashi and his abilities in the ring, and mind you, this guy had bad knees for God knows how long now. Just watch this match. He and Zack Sabre Jr. is no slouch. He doesn't need to be carried through a match. But Tanahashi paced this match in a way that, yeah, you're right, made Zack Sabre Jr. look like $1 million, look like a killer. That submission finish was just fantastic. To tap Tanahashi out in Madison Square Garden, I mean, I figured he'd win, but I figured he'd win with a cradle or something. To tap him out, that's ballsy booking. That's booking that I can respect. And that's how you make stars, is taking risks like that, putting a guy out there and just making him look like a fucking monster. And that's what this match really did, and did it in a time efficient manner. 15 minutes, I think it went. Yeah. Just a great match.
Yeah, and if you were watching live and you haven't rewatched it and you were kind of out of it, go back and rewatch the match and watch how Tanahashi makes Zack look like a damn star. I think this guy's gonna have a hefty G1 run. I don't think he wins. I I could see them doing the gimmick. I could see Zack, if he's in the same block as Okada, maybe Zack beats Okada in a block play match, and then gets the shot destruction or whatever down the road, because I think that he is a guy that you can have as one of those second, third guys going in New Japan that you can put against an Okada to get a good match and get a win. And you never know, down the road, maybe Zack. I think the Intercontinental title is more kind of the. I mean, Zack and Ibushi would. Well, damn spoiler. Zack in the Intercontinental Champion would be amazing for a program. But next we get to real quick. I had a 3 point. I had it at 3 1/4. Grapple App has it at 3.8. What about you?
I had it at 3.75.
Okay, so we're pretty much right there. So again, then thankfully by the end of this match, the crowd did start to come back, I think. And then we get to the next match, and then right off the bat from the intros, I mean, the second Kota Ibushi walked onto that stage and walked down that ramp, the crowd came back for Kota Ibushi right away. Obviously, Naito comes in to a hero's welcome. This New York City crowd was they were not. I was shocked. I figured we'd have more of a split. This crowd was pro Naito all the way at the beginning.
There was a sea of LIJ merch throughout this building when I walked in, so I'm not completely shocked that it was more, a Naito crowd. And honestly, these are probably your two biggest stars in America for New Japan. If I'm, just going through the roster, these are the guys I think that, typically generate the biggest reactions from the American crowds. And this is really the match that I was looking forward to the most for months, even though I didn't know it was necessarily going to occur. But this was the one I was hoping for and that we got. And to me, it lived up to the billing. It was just an absolutely fantastic match.
Yeah. I'll say this about, LIJ is when I woke up on Saturday, I literally went to my closet and I literally pulled out Bullet Club, LIJ, and I literally had to stand there for a second to try to figure out what are we wearing. Then eventually I'm like, I gotta support my guy. I gotta wear the Bullet Club t-shirt because, and I felt like it's that moment. But obviously this crowd, this crowd loved LIJ. I mean, even in the Honor Rumble, when Shingo came out, this crowd loved LIJ. And like I said, if you'd have had Hiromu, good Lord. But no, this crowd is very much pro Naito. And then essentially once this match gets going, the crowd starts to basically just it becomes it's a smart mark, right? I mean, the crowd was cheering for the match.
Yeah, it was a complete split in regards. I don't think anyone cared necessarily who won. And like I said, most people were, it felt like when the entrances came out, it was a Naito heavy crowd. But when Ibushi finally, finished the match off in a great, series of moves to finish the match in a little under 21 minutes, the crowd erupted. It was just, it was what this type of wrestling, what New Japan is all about, just celebrating tremendous in-ring work, and these guys are two of the best, and they really just, to me, their star can't shine any brighter than what it is right now after this match. It was my favorite match of the night.
Yeah. What'd you rate this?
I had it at 4.75.
You had it at 4.75. Okay. I originally had it at 4 1/4. I went back. I rewatched it Monday. I upped it to 4.5. I thought this was this is definitely in my top 5 match. I'd say this is definitely top 5 matches of the weekend for me. Mm-hmm. And I really, really love this. This, like I said, this is what, when New Japan was going to MSG, this is what you wanted. And I feel like this is where we got it. Then we go back to Ring of Honor for the Ring of Honor World Title match, 3-way ladder match. Matt Taven, Jay Lethal, Marty Scurll. What was the reactions to the entrances in the building? Just give me the reactions to the entrances for it right here.
Definitely a pro Marty Scurll crowd. I felt like he was the only one that got a real strong reaction. Lethal got a decent reaction. He's a hometown guy. He's from Elizabeth, so he got a decent reaction. Taven was kind of lukewarm, but Scurll, to me, it came across as the star of the three in the entrances.
I actually thought Marty got one of the biggest reactions of the night from anyone. So, yeah, this crowd, they wanted Marty. Obviously, Marty's a former Bullet Club member. He's the one surviving member of the crew that essentially well, we can get into that debate later. But he's the guy that he's the one that's left in Ring of Honor essentially, and you know, and he's been your biggest star in Ring of Honor even before. I thought they should have put the title on him last year, but I mean, what? Give us your live reaction to this match.
It was way too long. I felt like the stipulation hindered this match more than it helped it. I think it would have been better as just a plain, simple three-way dance for the title. I don't feel like any of these guys are, quote-unquote ladder match guys. That being said, I thought they did, fairly well with what they were given. It really deflated. When Marty got knocked out of the ring before the final spot between Taven and Lethal, I mean, the crowd knew that the finish was coming, and they were not happy that Scurll was not even involved in the finish. And it kind of deflated, took away from the moment for Taven. As soon as I saw that purple ladder come out, I assumed, he was going over. And I got about the reaction I expected from the live audience, that they were just, it kind of just sucked them out again. Just Ring of Honor, just, cutting their legs out from underneath them. And more details on Marty's contract situation have come out in recent days to just make this decision seem worse to me. It doesn't look like he's going anywhere for a while. I think he has about another 6 months left on his deal. I guess he had a 6-month option that Ring of Honor picked up. So he'll probably be there through September. To me, on the biggest stage with one of your biggest stars in your main event match, you put the title on your star. Even if you keep it on him for a little bit and take it off and put Taven, if Taven's going to be your guy, which clearly over the last year their booking has indicated as much, I think in this moment you put it on Scurll, give him that run, and then have Taven be the guy that dethrones him.
Yeah, I don't get the booking here, dude. You could have had. I would have put Marty over. You could have him carry to the next pay-per-view, which is, I believe, in June or July for Best in the World, and then drop it to Taven, and you're still in the same spot. And now he's getting a bigger rub because he beat Marty, and this just doesn't make sense. This deflated the crowd. I've been pretty vocal on Twitter, and I'm not gonna go deep into the weeds on this. I feel like Ring of Honor is almost booking to a very small section of their fan base. There is a small group that is very vocal about the Kingdom and Matt Taven, and I feel like somehow they went that way for their biggest show, rather than doing what the crowd wanted you to do. And I mean, hey, we learned this weekend that sometimes you just give the crowd what they want. It seems like that would have been a much worse system. I feel like, and obviously the other situation is the main problem, but I feel like at least if you have Marty win here, you're coming out of this feeling better about Ring of Honor. And now I'm really not.
Not at all. So based on the booking of the show, your next main event feud is Matt Taven versus Kenny fucking King. Is that going to carry any pay-per-view buys? Is that going to bring people to the arena? And their attendance is way down. We can get into that later. I couldn't care less about Kenny King, and I'm not even against Matt Taven being champion. I just don't think this was the time to do it. It doesn't make any sense. I almost wonder if they put the title on him because they know he's not going anywhere, so it's a safe bet. Whereas Marty, I think they've probably chalked up that he's probably going to AEW as soon as his deal's over. Yeah. But that's no way to book. That's being afraid of your talent leaving is crazy. Especially when you have him locked up for another 6 months. You could have put that title on him. I think the backlash against Ring of Honor wouldn't be nearly as bad if Skrull comes out of there with the gold. That's just my feeling on it. I don't really know what you do with these guys now. Even Lethal. I mean, he went. There was no run-ins, no interference, and not that I want them to overbook this because they've overbooked enough on this show. But, I mean, Taven went over about as clean as you could get in a ladder match. With zero, and he's supposed to be your heel, your top heel. No dirty foul play, nothing.
Yeah,
it's just bizarre to me. I don't know.
I'll close this out but to paraphrase another famous quote in wrestling: Taven versus Kenny King. Boy, that'll put butts in the seats. So then we get to the main event. The reason we're all here. Invisible Man versus Invisible Stan. No, just kidding. Just kidding, folks. Even though, if you haven't seen it,
it was awesome.
It's amazing. Bryce Remsburg is the real MVP. Mm-hmm. No, the real main event of G1 Supercard, folks. The champion, the Switchblade, the leader of the Bullet Club, my dude, Jay White, taking on the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. Again, lay out. Give me what you got.
I was surprised at how good of a reaction Jay White got. I don't know if it came across on television, but he got a really decent reaction. I was very surprised. And Okada got an Okada-type reaction. I'm not surprised. But this match, to me, maybe you disagree, probably Jay White's best match in New Japan, and I feel like that's been the pattern of his last few matches, is that they keep getting better, and better. Especially, and this, again, just a testament to Okada and how talented he is and how he paces his matches out. The finish was fantastic. Made Jay White look like $1 million despite losing the title in his very first defense. Awesome match. Definitely right up there. I may have even liked this match better than the Intercontinental title match. It is a tremendous match. Really brought the crowd back into it after the deflating ladder match. Really good way to finish the show.
One thing that amazed me about this match is the heat level on Gato.
Oh yeah,
this crowd hated Gato. I think at this point the crowd might have been mad at Gato for saying, "Bro, why did we have to team up with these other guys?" But no. This match, like you, and yes, I do agree 100% with you that Jay White is, like I've said, I was already a fan. This guy's getting better every single match, and I feel like losing the title in this match, in the way they worked it, this does not hurt him in one way, shape, or form. I thought this was the best match of Jay White's career. I actually went 4.75 on this match. I put it 4.75. Grapple has it at a 4.24, so I'm a little higher. And then, granted, I may be a little biased because Jay White's my guy at this point. But I went 4.75. I couldn't give it 5 because I said I was only giving 1 5-star match this weekend. That happened on Friday. Mm-hmm. But no, I loved this match. I thought it was great. Obviously, even though, and I always say this, even though, especially in this case, I knew that Okada was going over. I mean, well, I don't say I knew. We discussed it, and we both pretty much said that there's no way Okada's not winning here. There's no way they're not having Kazuchika holding the title with the. Did you see? Apparently, there was no Okada bucks because the union didn't want to clean them up.
Is that what the reason was? We were wondering where they were at.
That is the rumored reason that the union
my God.
would have had to. It would have been too much for the union to clean up. So there was no Okada bucks, but you still got Okada holding up the title with the pyro going off at the end. At least we went out on a high note here. Like I said, I think, and the New Japan portion of this card was great for the most part. Ring of Honor. The tweet that I quoted and I read, this was like, you're the smartest kid in class. You get a group project. You're the smartest kid in class. But it was a random pick. And in your group, you also got the dumbest kid in the class that fucks around, doesn't do his work. So you stack the deck and you minimize the level of presentation that the stupid kid had to do. And then come presentation day, stupid kid still manages to screw it up.
Yeah.
That's what happened here. Let's be honest. New Japan drew the house. Let's be honest. Initially, 5 guys that aren't even in the company anymore for Ring of Honor drew the house for Ring of Honor. And then the people said, well, it's New Japan, it's Ring of Honor. We've already got the tickets. We're still going to go anyway. Which, by the way, on the secondary market on Saturday, the ticket prices were, at least up in the cheap seats, were bottoming out.
Mm-hmm.
You had a chance to put your product on a pedestal and say, this is who we are. This is what makes us unique. And instead you said, this is who we are. We're a WWE knockoff. You did an angle that nobody wanted. You didn't smarten up your talent to where literally the person who is now your tag team champion threw your tag title belt against a wall and said, fuck Ring of Honor. I'll tell you right now, that title's changing hands in Japan. They're going to send somebody to get it, or they're going to declare it vacant, because I don't think Tom is coming back.
Yeah, I don't feel like that whole 2-minute promo on Ring of Honor was, a work by any stretch of the imagination. They both looked legitimately pissed off. He chucked it off a wall. He called the title the shit title. Literally called it the shit title. They aren't coming. They're not on the tapings on Saturday. They're not on the show on Sunday. They're booked in New Japan. Yeah, I think they're going to either declare them vacant or they're going to have to send someone over there to get them. I just don't. And he buried the talent too. He just said that you had enough time to pull that bullshit outside the ring. That means you didn't put enough energy and effort into the match, and that's why the match was easy. Which I know that's a little bit of a work, but fuck. I mean, I don't blame them. I'd have been pissed too. And I think they were legitimately, kept out of the loop. And that match in itself, that whole angle in itself, just shows you how damaged that relationship is with New Japan and Ring of Honor. Because I can't imagine in a million years, and I'm not a big fan of the current president for New Japan. I think they've made a lot of missteps in the last year in regards to their Western expansion. I can't imagine in a million years they wanted to be associated with that bullshit that happened in that match. Not a chance in hell.
I said at this point, either A, if you're going to run Mania next year, do it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I'm Harold May, I'm sitting there going, okay, how much longer do I have to stay in this agreement? And then as soon as I can get out of it, call Mr. Koff and Mr. Rhodes. Call Mr. Rhodes and Mr. Khan. Yeah, I'm talking turkey with the boys from All Elite Wrestling because Jesus Christ, this was bad.
If there was anything that came out of this show it was clear that it's a one-sided partnership, that Ring of Honor is the only one that's benefiting from this relationship at this point. And while they needed Ring of Honor to get this show booked in Madison Square Garden, they were the primary reason why the show got booked. The reason why they had a house at all, the reason why it came across as good as it did, was because of New Japan and its talent. There is no interesting matches left between Ring of Honor and New Japan that I care to see, outside of maybe Jeff Cobb and Bandito. But I don't think they're going to be, honestly, the way Ring of Honor is heading, I can't imagine they're going to be there much longer either. They need to get on the horn to the guys in Jacksonville and make this deal happen. Get Omega back. Get Jericho back. Get the Bucks back. Hangman. All those guys, plus the new talent that they're bringing in, the MJFs, those types of guys, all the Janela. How interesting would Joey Janela be in a New Japan ring?
Oh God!
How interesting would you imagine MJF cutting a promo in the center of a New Japan ring in Korakuen Hall, just ripping people apart? Those are far more interesting prospects than Matt Taven going over and wrestling.
Or TK O'Ryan going over and putting a fucking Korakuen crowd to sleep.
Yes.
And this is where I think I'm going to say it. But the final thing. I signed up for Honor Club. Not on day one. Essentially for Supercard, but in time for Supercard of Honor. And I did it because, and I've been accused of this, yes. My closet is full of Bullet Club shirts, and it's very quickly becoming full of AEW t-shirts. I signed up because of Cody, because of the Bucks, because of Hangman Page, because of Marty Scurll. They're gone. I gave you a chance. I said, show me what you got. Show me what you can do. And obviously, you got New Japan. Alex McCarthy used to tell me that New Japan was propping up Ring of Honor. They were the only reason Ring of Honor was staying afloat. And I would say, I'm not so sure about that. Well, guess what? Alex was right. This company is propped up by New Japan. On its own, nobody gives a shit. You went and did these angles that tarnished the entire show. Where I'm at right now, my Ring of Honor, my Honor Club subscription lapsed. I, an old school, OG, Ring of Honor fan, was at the first Ring of Honor show in Chicago, was at the first Supercard of Honor, was there for Dragon Gate, the Dragon Gate 6-man. Obviously, was there for Tyler Black. God love him. I am done. I'm done with your company. I've got better things to do. I've got better wrestling to watch. Matt Taven, no. Lifeblood, meh. Brody King PCO, Bandito, Jeff Cobb, okay, they're on TV. I'll watch that match. But as far as your company, as far as the company as a whole, Ring of Honor, this is not my Ring of Honor. My Ring of Honor died. This company's probably going to get swallowed up by AEW or WWE within the next few years. You guys are done. It's over. I'm out on Ring of Honor.
And you're not the only one. I live in Pittsburgh, so this has been a predominantly strong market for Ring of Honor for years. I've gone to Ring of Honor shows for years. And they always sell out or come close to selling out decent-sized buildings in the city. The next taping is in Pittsburgh, I'm going. I just checked Ticketmaster today. They haven't even sold half the seats to the building. I'm talking a 1,500-seat building. If they have 500 seats sold, it's a lot. It is embarrassing how poor. And I checked other shows that they have tickets on sale. Every city is like this. If you watch the show on the 31st, giant sections of that building in Baltimore, a huge market for them, basically their home base, empty, completely empty. No one gives a shit. They have completely lost their market share, and I think they're going to get swallowed up, unfortunately. I totally agree. And it comes back to the booking. You had the biggest acts outside of the WWE for 3 solid years. How many stars did you make in those 3 years with those guys? Not a goddamn one. They didn't make one star. They had 5 of the top talents outside the WWE, and they didn't use them to make anyone. And now they're in this position where they're scrambling and they're signing guys, and that's great, but you're not doing anything with them either. And if the creative doesn't get better, they're going to be gone. They're just going to be flat out gone, which would be a real shame, because I like you, I've been there since the beginning. They were really my, what led me to indie wrestling to begin with, was Ring of Honor. And it's just it's a real shame to see how far they've fallen and what should have been their biggest moment.
No, Bandito, guys like Bandito, Brody King, Jeff Cobb, what's eventually going to happen, they're going to use Ring of Honor, get paid, use it as a platform, and then when their contracts are up, they're going to AEW or they're going to WWE. That's what's going to happen. And then eventually you're left with the Kingdom and maybe Jay Lethal, because I don't think at this point anybody wants it. And no offense to Lethal, he's a great talent, but there were rumors a few years ago, and it didn't happen. But I don't think anybody wants him. And it's going to come to a point where nobody's going to want to sign with you. And I had this debate with Alex a few years ago that nobody wants to sign with you because WWE was bad on was shying away from signing Ring of Honor guys because they were threatened with a tampering lawsuit. Eventually, you're going to get left with nothing, and you're going to get swallowed and more than likely by WWE, because the only piece of equity you're going to have left is a tape library.
Yeah.
But thankfully, now that that's done, now that G1 is done, and they pissed me off, I can say I'm done with Ring of Honor. Really quick, before we get out of here, did you see that the Road to Dentaku stuff was announced?
Yes.
We got a ton of shows on New Japan World coming up in the month, so I am excited about that. We've got, I'm trying to pull it up here. I'm not going to run down every show, but I did not realize we're back this weekend.
Yep.
We've got Road 2 shows actually this weekend. Saturday live, Sundays and Mondays will be up on VOD later. These do not have English commentary. We have April 20th. So starting April 20th, we do have English commentary. April 20th, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 26th, 29th, and 30th. And the cool thing is there's actually title matches stretched over the course of those shows. So we do have some big matches coming up towards the end of April. And there's going to be obviously a lot of good stuff to watch. I'm excited because I feel like now we can just get back to regular New Japan.
I totally agree. I think get the stink of Ring of Honor off of them, get back to what makes them good, what, got the crowd up in New York. And I'm really looking forward to some of these matchups, really some interesting matchups. And it's going to, just a ton of shows, just a myriad of different types of shows and things, and trying different things. I really like some of the main events that they're using, not your common main event type of matches. So I'm looking forward to this stretch.
I know we've got a show with a junior heavyweight tag title match as a main event. There's a show with a never title match as a main event. So they've actually gone to actually saying, hey, let's put some intrigue on some of these shows. Let's not just do multi-man tag matches. Let's do some stuff. Let's advance some stuff. I'm really interested to see how this next tour goes. I believe probably at Corkin, I'm going to guess we're officially going to get the Best of the Super Junior lineup. I did see the flyer. No real surprises. Bandito, Dragon Lee. I think there was one more CMLL on there as well. And then, of course, I'm excited. I'm praying this one's true because the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham, I want him in that tournament so bad. So we'll get that lineup this month. Like I said, I'm excited. It was a long weekend for me. And I talked for 2 hours yesterday and obviously about an hour and a half today. But thank you, folks, for listening. Go buy a T-shirt at our TeePublic store. Look it up on the Twitter for the Slam Fam Wrestling Network. Follow the Slam Fam at SlamFamWREST. Follow this show, if you're not already, at PuroRegal Pod. You can follow me at SCWRegal444.
You can follow me at Ringside Chats on Twitter, even though I barely use it. Or you can go on Facebook and join Ringside Chat and chat with me, Tim, Alex, Court, the whole gang over there.
You can find out what type of wing sauce you should use.
Yes, Wingside Chat.
Big Wingside Chat thread. That was one of the MVPs of the weekend. No. And yeah, thank you everybody for listening. G1 on the New Japan side was great. The Ring of Honor side, well, it gave us an interesting show. So thank you everybody. Happy wrestling. We'll see you later.
There's a title missing. We just got one. Ours is missing. Y'all know that's bullshit. Here's what else is bullshit. We had an agreement in this match, but just like anything else, it's fucking wrestling. You just don't believe what you're told. So here's what's gonna happen. I don't give a fuck about the ROH guys. I don't give a fuck about the motherfuckers that just came into the end of the match and fucking took our glory. We won the titles tonight. We won the title match. Title versus title. You know what else is bullshit? I worked for free tonight. I'm like, look at this garbage. Piece of shit. Nobody gives a fuck about no ROH. Huh? We handled y'all. Every one of y'all. That was easy. I'm surprised that some of y'all that lost had so much energy to do another battle with somebody else. That wasn't even in our match. That came in after he just did a match before us. So the fact that you guys that brawled after our match tells me something. Tells me one thing. You motherfuckers ain't on New Japan level. That's a fucking promise. Huh? You fucking old ass retired dudes. Yeah. Fuck y'all. Huh? Fuck all y'all. That tells me you didn't put your fucking best at our match. You saved energy for that bullshit. Huh? After our match. But let it be known. We're double champs. Huh? IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champs and the ROH bullshit tag belts champions. That shit was easy. Fucking crazy out of your fucking mind.